welcome back. Sharp and Shapiro, it is the Vegas Take. Man, I hear that song, I always think about the late Lane Staley, one of my favorite bands, Alice in Chains, growing up. Another famous, talented guy who we lost way too soon, but under completely different circumstances. That was a drug overdose. Welcome back to the show. We appreciate you coming on. It is listening to us. It is C-Win Wednesdays. So C-Win joining us in studio as well.
Another textbook case, Brian, of wow, we should have audio of the in-between breaks here, given the dialogue that we engage in here.
Our producer just pisses me off on a regular basis, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Here's a story that pisses me off as well. We're going to get to Mike Krzyzewski in a moment. Always great in Las Vegas to bash the Duke program. So we'll have an opportunity to do that in just a few minutes here. But there is a, there is a local football coach. I shouldn't say local, but there is a football coach who is praising Hitler. That's right, folks. You can't make this stuff up. It is unbelievable. This Grand Valley State football coach, he said the way in talking about Adolf Hitler, his name is Morris Berger. He has been suspended for praising Hitler. He said the way he was able to lead was second to none in talking about Adolf Hitler. This is probably this. I mean, this is just terrible. It's just. I mean, I'm speechless now. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, this is tough.
A little background here.
Yeah, this is tough to
Grand
touch.
Valley State, by the way, is in my old neck of the woods up in Michigan. It is a powerhouse Division II program.
They've had some NFL players.
So this here is just not good, Brian. This is not something that is going to be beneficial in any way, shape, or form for that program or for college football.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, when you make a statement,
a questionable
a statement
thing to say,
and you praise Adolf Hitler for his leadership qualities,
it's not going to work.
A suspension to me is not enough. This man should have been fired. JD, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. This is much worse than what the teacher did with Kobe Bryant yesterday. This is significantly worse.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Adolf Hitler didn't lead anyone. He manipulated
He killed
people.
He's responsible for killing 7 million people.
He manipulated a group of people and convinced them that another group of people were literally not human.
Okay, so we agree on this, but let me ask you this. There's a reason why I asked you that question, because we have had conversations in the past on this show where we disagreed on whether, someone should be fired or not. For example, for using the N-word, for calling somebody the N-word. To me, they're both hand in hand, atrocious things. I think they should, you should be fired for that as well. So why is it, now I agree with you with this, but why is it that if you praise Hitler, you deserve to be fired, but if you call an African-American the N-word at work, you should just be educated and you shouldn't be fired? Because I think they're both fireable offenses.
And that's right. I just think that this is much more egregious.
I think they're both egregious.
That's fine.
But yeah, obviously this is extremely egregious. So they've suspended him.
Right.
Okay? They've suspended him. How dumb of an individual do you have to be? Seriously, gentlemen. How dumb do you have to be in public or private, especially public, to praise a man who is responsible for killing 7 million Jews? Is this the kind of person, if you're a parent, that you want your kid to play for?
Here's a word of advice, okay? When you're talking about people like Adolf Hitler, like Saddam Hussein, like Osama bin Laden, it behoove you not to go down the road of speaking in positive terms in any way about these people. There's no benefit for it. I don't understand what the benefit would be. I don't understand what you think you're doing talking about leadership with people like that. You don't need to go there, right?
And I would argue that of the names that Stalin, Hussein, Osama bin Laden, Hitler is the worst.
I want to go.
Hitler to me is the worst villain in the history of the world.
And by the way,
to me,
he didn't
just based on what he did and the logic behind what he did and how he thought it was okay.
He didn't,
and the measures that he went through to convince people that things weren't actually happening. Hitler is the absolute
manipulation.
Worst. And I'll expand on this, Brian. You mentioned how if you use the N-word, I think if you repeatedly use the N-word, if you do it twice, 3 times, then yes, you should absolutely be fired. Absolutely.
I don't think it should be repeatedly. I think if you do it once, it shows character.
I think if you do it a couple of times, it shows a pattern of behavior.
If you do it one time,
your heart is expressed through that.
One time praising Adolf Hitler is enough for me.
And I totally agree with that.
Let me expand on what he said. Besides praising Adolf Hitler for being a great leader, the reason why this conversation started, he was asked if you had to pick one person in the world, dead or alive, who would you have dinner with? Who does he pick? He picks Adolf Hitler. Here's his quote. This is probably not going to get a good review, but I'm going to say Adolf Hitler. Yeah, he's right. It's not getting a good review. He also went on to say it was obviously very sad and he had bad motives, but the way he was able to lead was second to none. How he rallied a group and a following. I want to know how he did that. Bad intentions, of course, but you can't deny he wasn't a great leader.
It's an absolute exercise in stupidity. I don't know how else you want to describe it. You want to dance around it, talk about it. The guy is just a moron. And which makes it even more remarkable. This guy is a leader of men, right? That this guy is a coach in any way, in any fashion, because the thought process there is completely off the rails. If you're going to invoke someone like that, someone like Adolf Hitler, when there's so many other people, JD,
Can't you
right?
pick somebody
that you
else?
can talk about. Brian and JD, Brian, you said it. How many other people could you mention?
Give me George
or bring
Washington.
Up? Yes.
Give me
other
Abraham
than
Lincoln.
Adolf Hitler. I mean, it's unbelievable to me.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy was a scumbag, piece of garbage, anti-Semite. That certainly wouldn't shock me at all.
I think it's pretty clear that there's a good chance that he is. At
Yeah,
this
well,
point.
let's give Mel Gibson a call. Let's find out what he thinks. But in all seriousness, we had put up a poll on Twitter right now. It's 50-50. Half say this is blown out of proportion, and half say he should be fired. How can you say this is blown out of proportion?
You guys are that's completely redonkulous.
What type of moron are you to say that a college football coach praising Adolf Hitler and his leadership qualities, and we're blowing it out of proportion? You are a moron if you think that way. By the way, when Hillary Clinton used the term deplorables, they were talking about you. If you think it is totally fine for a college football coach or anybody in society for that matter, even at a bar, if I heard somebody talking to their friend and say Hitler was a great leader, I'd say you are a piece of garbage. Okay? This guy is speaking publicly about it as a college football coach leading young men, and people are saying that this is blown out of proportion. Are you effing kidding me?
And what's really scary about this, and it is scary to me, is that he is mistaking doing what Hitler did, to create the Nazi Party and to have the Nazi Party, do the heinous, the millions of heinous crimes they committed. He's calling that leading.
Exactly.
And that is the opposite of leading. That is not leading at all.
And you could make
that is total manipulation. That is mental manipulation.
And guys, you could make the argument, right, that a lot of those people of the half that think it's no big deal are either anti-Semites, have some racism, history, whatever. There's just something wrong with them. Yeah, there's just something wrong with you. Your thought process is that, oh yeah, you guys, I don't even know why you guys are discussing it. It's not even a big deal. Then you have some real issues on your own, and you need to, exercise some better judgment.
By the way, there are some people on the right that have come out in the past 15, 20 years, a few of them, that have actually been Nazi sympathizers that have said that it didn't happen, that are saying that Nazi Germany and these Jews were not killed. Anybody who makes an ignorant comment like that, just like anybody who praises Adolf Hitler in any way, shape, or form, I don't even care if you're praising his mustache for that matter, anybody who makes any positive comments about a man who killed 7 million Jews should be fired, period. Now, am I saying that they should never work again? Well, I'd probably say they probably shouldn't get a job at a synagogue, but they definitely shouldn't work with young kids.
Well, they shouldn't be leading young men.
No.
Absolutely not.
No chance.
Yeah. So
and Brian, that mustache is atrocious, by the way. Okay? There's nothing fashionable about it. That you don't look good. Women aren't looking at you saying, oh, I got to have that. No.
That's not true, though. I did go on the red carpet of the AVN Porn Awards, and I said, who would you rather do a sex scene with, Adolf Hitler or Osama bin Laden? Most of them did pick Osama bin Laden, though. I will say that.
Really?
To their credit, they made the right choice.
They must not know that Hitler actually only had one testicle.
They might have had a Saudi.
They must not know that.
They might have had a Saudi Arabian fetish or something.
You're saying
too.
Adolf Hitler and Tom Green have something in common.
Absolutely, I am. Yep.
Luckily, this football coach was suspended. I'm going to tell you right now, guys. If they let this guy back on as the head coach, what a disgusting university. If they let this guy back coaching this team, or any team hires this guy after these comments, let him do something else to make money. This guy should not be leading young men, like you said. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get to the good stuff. Duke University, Mike Krzyzewski going bananas at his own fans in Cameron Indoor. We're going to explain what those fans said. We have the audio of Mike Krzyzewski and his comments after the game. We'll get to that coming up next